Well, finally found a bit of time to get out into the stubble fields and have a go at decoying the crows and pigeons. First thing I do after I get my hide set up is set out a few decoys. You can see this field has been cut, but the straw is still left in rows, so hopefully it'll be built before long. This might make it difficult to get a shot at birds if they're sitting between the rows, but I'll have a go anyway. Once I get my decoys out, I'll get myself into the hide and get settled. Now, this is the first bird to come down. He's only about 10 yards away, but I still have to cock and load the rifle, so I'm doing that as quietly as I can in the hide without disturbing the bird. And all seems to go well until I knock the safety catch off and the bird flies on. There's a row of beech trees to my right, and the birds seem to be enjoying sitting on them rather than landing down into the decoys. This is the borderline to the property, so I can't really take any shots at the birds up in them trees. But a bit of patience and the birds start to come down. A wee bit out of range, but give it time and they might come into the decoys. This bird lands about 20 yards away. Gives me an opportunity. I've got the Varach HW97 with me, spring powered air rifle, and 177, and on headshots it seems to be pretty good. So we'll go out and set that bird up as a decoy. Get another bird down in, about 20-25 yards away. It goes straight down to feeding, so I have to be patient and wait for a head up shot. Heart shot's a wee bit difficult with all this long stubble. That's what I'm looking for. I'll put the pellet into the back of his head. There's some rooks and jackdaws come into the trees about 100 yards away to my left hand side. They seem to be interested in feeding down in that area. It's a very small field, but still 100 yards out of the road is not really going to do me much good. We'll soon get another bird into the pattern. It took me a minute or two to figure out where this bird is, because every time I looked out of the hide all I could see was one bird, which I thought was my decoy, but it's actually sitting a yard or two just in front of my decoy. And it's only really when it started to move its head that I realised where it was to get a shot off. But thankfully it sits long enough for me to get the Virach on aim. Again, I'm going to go for a headshot, as that's the only opportunity I have here. And the pellet goes clean through the bird and actually hits my decoy behind it. Now, just because a bird lands doesn't mean you always get a shot at it. This jackdaw lands about 25 yards away. Now, I don't know what happened, but I missed this bird. And believe it or not, more than once, as you'll see. But it didn't seem to spook for some reason. I don't know what was wrong with it. I don't know why I was missing. Whether it was just moving at the wrong time, whether I was aiming too much or too little wind. But Finally its luck ran out. It got within about 20 yards of me. And whether the wind eased or not I don't know, but I dropped it with that one. Then went out and set it up as a decoy. I've a bird away out to the left here. He's a good 30 yards or more. And totally missed. I think he just turned his head as I squeezed the trigger. This bird's in about 25 yards away. Goes straight into feeding. So I'll have to wait for an opportunity. And take him in the back of the head. Another bird in, he's a good 30 yards as well, out to my left. You can see how much wind there is when the grass along the hedge in the background's moving like that. But the straw in the field isn't actually doing much. So it's a bit confusing really how much wind you actually need to allow. So I think I aim dead on and just miss him. I should have given him a good 1/4 inch, 3/8 or more to the right hand side. Again we get another bird dropping in about 25 yards and for some reason decides not to stay. Then the heavens opened. I actually got caught out in the middle of a hailstorm here. A hailstorm, goodness sake. So that put an end to the day and I went out and picked up my decoys. Remember the one I hit after it went through the pigeon's head? Well, there's the pellet. Right good shape after it went through a pigeon's head and then through one side of the decoy. Well, just the 4 birds and, well, 4 pigeons and 1 jackdaw, but I got out for a spell which was enjoyable.